guest today is CEO of Anchor ID, a company using mobile technology to change authentication as we know it. David Schropfer built an $85 million cellular business in the late 1990s, then a $90 million voice over IP business in the mid-2000s. More recently, he helped large companies build their mobile strategy leveraging the security and technology available in smartphones when he launched Anchor ID. When he's not a regular keynote speaker and panelist at industry conferences, David has authored 5 books, including his latest, Digital Habits, 5 simple tips to help keep you and your information safe online every day. David, what keeps you up at night?
Hi, Scott, and thanks very much for having me on your show. The thing that keeps me up at night is quantum computing. I think quantum computing is literally the next Y2K problem. Now, if you remember Y2K, it was a pretty simple problem. Years were expressed by 2 digits, not 4 digits. 1950 was 50 and not 1950. And nobody thought that would be a problem for decades, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, until it was, and the 90s inevitably came along, and it was a massive effort to fix that. Now, the thing with quantum computing is that it's not just a faster computer, it works differently. It doesn't necessarily have to do problems in a serial process, one problem after another after another. It can do them at the same time, which is hard to get your head around in some cases. I mean, think of a large dice. Let's say you had a dice that had 1,000 faces on it, and you wanted to see if that was a fair dice. There's only ones and zeros on this dice. So the way a computer would do that is it would add up all the ones and add up all the zeros and see if they were an even number. But with a quantum computer, if it was big enough, it would actually do that whole process in one step. Not so quickly that it seems like one step. And the problem with all this is it can start to defeat all of the security, or much of the security, that has been built in to all of the legacy computer systems for decades. So much like the Y2K problem, we've been making this problem for ourselves with things like RSA keys as our gatekeepers. But in the time between now and whenever quantum computers are actually publicly available at reasonable prices, it might be 10 years, it might be 30 years. We really don't know yet. But when that happens, a lot of the security that's built into our whole world can be easily defeated. That's what keeps me up at night.
Oh, great. Quantum computers are coming. I think it's going to be sooner than later. So really appreciate that. Hey David, where can our viewers learn a little bit more about you and some of the things that you're doing?
Absolutely. So anchorid.com has all the information about what Anchor ID is and how we're working. We have a video up there that will tell you a little bit about our product, but we're basically a multi-factor authentication business that makes it easy to use and leverages your smartphone as a representative of you instead of just using a password. We actually eliminate the password in our business model. Also, you can go to DIY Cyber Guide to listen to me interview other cybersecurity experts around the world. And you can find my book on Amazon, like you mentioned at the beginning, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or you can just Google Digital Habits and the number 5, and you should be able to find the book quite easily.
Oh, that's great. Well, thanks again so much for being on there, David.
Pleasure being on the show. Thanks, Scott.